Your dad proposed to you in front of your siblings and your mom at 15 years old.
Yeah, well, I was 16 by then, but yes.
Your biological father.
My biological father.
You put up a reel, and when I tell you it got real in the comment section.
For my 16th birthday, my father proposed to me. Yes, you heard that right. My biological father got on one knee with a ring and asked me to marry him. Surrounded by my mother and my 6 siblings, we stood in the library of the construction site we called home, and I didn't answer. Pregnant with my first child by my father, I cried. Ironically, he thought they were tears of joy. He'd spent the last 8 years brainwashing me through various types of abuse and assumed I'd conformed. But little did he know, escaping him was a hope I refused to let go of. I lost the ring. 8 years later, I found freedom, and he's sitting in jail.
Your dad proposed to you in front of your siblings and your mom at 15 years old.
Yeah, well, I was 16 by then, but yes.
Your biological father.
My biological father. I did write a short poem called Free in a Box. It explores the fact that I was raised isolated in the middle of a very metropolitan state, which is New Jersey. I mean, we have rural areas, but you know, for the most part, it's pretty metropolitan, especially when you're close to New York. People didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. They didn't know what was going on in our home. I was homeschooled and not allowed to have friends. I was in Paterson, New Jersey, in the midst of a very populated area, to the point that sometimes when my siblings and I were outside behind the gate, I wasn't allowed by a certain age to go outside of the fence of our home. Police officers would drive by and stop and say, "Aren't you supposed to be in school?" You know, they didn't explore past that. You know, my father, he eventually became a music video director.
Oh.
But he started off as a cabinet maker, an interior designer. He was very much into, you know, African culture and the role Black people played in American history. So I was raised knowing about enslaved Africans, stolen Africans, what our as a community, how we are oppressed in the community, how police treat us in our communities. And so, of course, having that fear instilled in me, once a police officer drove past, I became afraid of them. I was afraid of them in general, right? Yeah. Because I knew how they treated, based on what my father taught us and images and books that he would show us and read to me. I knew how they looked at Black people. I'll just go ahead and just say it. So my father was molesting me at that age. So I'm 8. He started molesting me when I was 8 years old, and he started raping me when I was 10.
Jesus.
Kept us out of school, so I had never been to school or anything. And as the abuse got worse over time, as I got older, he then would not allow me to go outside, wouldn't allow me to play with other kids, and eventually got to the point where I was not allowed to speak to my extended family. So I was cut off from my aunts and my uncles, my cousins, my grandmother.
And it was only you.
Well, it started with only me. And over the course of the beginning part of my childhood, so from like 8 to 14, it was only me he was abusing, because he told me that if I complied, if I kept the secret, if I stopped fighting, then he would not molest my sisters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how he maintained control. So a lot of people ask me, well, why didn't you run away? Why didn't you fight? Why didn't you? I did all of that. But then he interjected these modes of control. One was that he would hurt my mom. He would kill her. He would beat her. And I witnessed him beating her. He was abusive to my mother. And that he would then molest her. My sister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. Kindly subscribe to this beautiful channel. So in today's video, guys, we are talking about a deeply unsettling and painful story. Imagine being 16 years old and having your own father propose to you in front of your siblings, someone who should be your protector and guide. But it doesn't stop there. She later became pregnant by him and somehow, against all odds, managed to escape and find freedom. This is a story of an immense pain but also incredible resilience, and it's something that we need to talk about. Let's start with a proposal. A father proposing to his daughter is not just inappropriate, it's a profound violation of trust and boundaries. At 16 years, she's still a child, trying to navigate her way through adolescence. For her father to take advantage of that vulnerable time in her life is beyond disturbing. And to do it in front of her siblings, that add another layer of trauma, not just for her but for everyone involved. The psychological impact of such an event is almost unimaginable. Now let's talk about the manipulation that likely leads to this. Grooming is a common tactic used by abusers to break down a child's defenses and manipulate them into accepting abusive behavior as normal. This wasn't a sudden event, it was probably the result of years of manipulation where he slowly eroded her ability to see his actions as wrong. This kind of control can make incredibly difficult for the victim to recognize the abuse and even harder to escape it from it. Then there is the fact that she became pregnant by him. This is where the horror of the situation reaches a new level. A pregnancy should be a joyous occasion, but in this context, it's a constant reminder of the abuse she endured. The emotional toll this must have taken on her is overwhelming. She was forced to carry the weight of this traumatic experience, likely in silence and fear. This is not just physical abuse, it's a deep psychological wound that would take years, if not a lifetime, to heal. Despite all this, she found the strength to escape. Think about it, the courage it takes to leave a situation like this, to defy the person who has control over you for so long. It's not just about getting away physically, it's about breaking free mentally and emotionally from the grip of an abuser. Finding freedom after such an ordeal is nothing short of remarkable. It's a testament to the human spirit ability to endure and overcome even the darkest situations. Her story highlights the critical need for support system for the survivor of abuse. No one should have to face something like this alone. Whether it's through friends, family, or professional support, organizations have someone to turn to make all the differences in breaking free and starting the healing process. Therapy is also very important in helping survivors process their trauma, rebuild their self-esteem, and regain a sense of normalcy in their lives. It's important to remember that healing is a journey and it's okay to seek help along the way. This story is both heartbreaking and inspiring. It's a stark reminder of the dark realities that some people face, but it's also a story of incredible strength and resilience. If you or someone you know is going through something similar, please reach out for help. There are resources available and you don't have to go through this alone. So the thing is, I don't know what other people think, because your own child, like, this is your blood. You as a father, you're supposed to be the protector. Okay, you're supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be the guider of this child, and you end up taking advantage of her. Like, 16 years is a very young age. Okay, so you can't. And where do you get the guts? Like, your wife is there and your kids are there. What kind of picture are you trying to bring in your family? You're trying to bring that incest is normal in your family. Okay, so I think parents should learn to be responsible. If you're not ready to be a dad, please stay back. Okay, let the people who are ready to be dads to continue the journey, because this is traumatic. This is a very difficult way to come out. She's going to be with this forever. Okay, so I just want to say that's my thoughts. I don't know what you think about today's video, and if you're going through the same, be kind to comment, and we send you hugs. You're not alone. Thank you so much. Bye.